4 months after that phone call with her, he ends up passing away. Like, I'm still so deep in my grieving process that I'm like kind of dissociating a lot. Yeah, and I'm like very detached. Like, I still feel like I'm watching my life through a TV right now.
What's going on, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Journey to Solutions podcast, where we interview people from all walks of life overcoming the impossible. We share light on one simple truth: no matter your past, no matter your pain, with the power of God, anything is possible. And today's special guest, she's one of the most amazing people that I know. She literally has this thing called Camp Soberfest that's happening really soon that we're going to talk on this episode, but she gets about over 100, 200, 150 people in recovery to go out in the wilderness for 5 days to just have meetings, fellowship. We're eating, we're playing games, we're going hiking, we're jumping in the water. I mean, it's just so many things, and prizes and talent shows. And I've seen some of those videos, and they're really funny what people do. But she's somebody who's just about helping that person that's hopeless. She really is people-centered. She's not about the money, she's about the people. And she's literally created this community that I've never seen done by anybody else to create this moment and this season and something to look forward to. Because a lot of people in recovery think, once I get sober, I'm never going to have fun again. And sometimes it's hard to figure out what is fun, because usually what was fun isn't fun for us anymore. But she created this safe space where I'm telling you, you will have the most fun in your life. And not only are you having fun, but you have a family. Yeah. And so, guys, I want to introduce Breezy.
Hi. That was the best introduction I've ever had in my life. I feel like I'm floating.
Do you want me to send it to you as like a ringtone?
Yes, please. Yeah, if I could wake up to that every day, I feel like I'd be like, yep, that's me. I'm that bitch.
Right? You're like, yes, I feel gratitude.
Yeah.
I feel worthy.
Yeah.
And I can do anything. But it's true.
Yeah.
Think about it. People have tried to do what you've done, whether it's a one-day thing, or I think they have some type of camping stuff. But it's not like yours.
Yeah.
Yours is like cool. You know what I mean? It's like, do you want to go play bingo, or do you want to go do something cool? You know?
Yeah. Hey, we did do bingo the first year, though.
Cool bingo, though.
Cool bingo.
Right?
It was fun.
It was.
We were all in our onesie pajamas, and then we played. I think we had karaoke or something directly after it. So.
Yeah, I remember that first year I think the first year was the year I went, and it rained. Right? I think one of the days it rained really hard towards the end. Yeah.
You were there still?
Yeah.
Because you left early.
Yeah. The reason why I left early too, because remember, that's when I just had like a seizure and was like brain dead for like a month.
Yeah.
And a week when I learned how to walk again,
yeah.
I went and I was just checked out. I was like, everyone's like, oh, yeah, hey. I'm like,
where am I?
Where am I right now? So I stood I think I was there for like 2 days worth. And then the third day I was like, dude, I got to go. And it was raining. But I remember I was jealous that I was in that place in my life.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, dude, this is like so fun. So I'm excited for next week.
Yeah. I cannot believe it's already here. It flew by. Yeah, you've missed 2 the past 2 years. You went the first one, this is our 4th one.
Okay, so I missed the past 2 because last year I was in Bali. Yeah.
Yeah, it's completely different now. It is so, when I think back to the first year and compare it to last year, I'm like, it feels like 2 different camps, which is obvious, you know. It was the first year, nobody really knew each other, and it's just grown every year of people who, I feel like that first year because I planned it in 2 months.
You did that in 2 months?
I did that in 2 months, like a psychopath. I had gone through a horrific breakup, and I was like, I just need to put my energy into something. Yeah. And I was like, Camp Soberfest, here we go. Wow. I literally planned it in 2 months. I went and found the location, and I started marketing it. And I was like, in my brain, and I think we're very similar in this, it's like, you just build it and people are going to come, duh, of course everyone else wants to do something like this. And I got humbled really quickly, and I was like, why is no one buying a ticket? Like, what's going on? And I started panicking. So we marketed it towards a lot of treatment centers and sober livings at the beginning because my company, Taste Recovery, is like the sponsor of it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, that makes sense. Like, to have a bunch of people that are either in treatment, just leaving treatment, or in sober living to go. And so that was like the majority of the demographic at camp the first year. And I feel like, yes, they may have like wanted to be there, but it's not like a lot of like the treatment centers had helped sponsor them and, whatever. And so a lot of people there hadn't paid their way. They were just kind of going just because, like, oh, well, we're alumni of this treatment center and they're taking us. So um, now it's people who are paying their way because it's speaking to them and their inner child, and maybe they're at a place in their life where they feel complacent in their sobriety, and they just really want to connect with other like-minded people. They want to get outside, like whatever it is that's drawing them there, they're going because they want to be there. And so the difference that makes in the experience is, obviously night and day, because people are, they're planning their talent show months in advance,
Yeah.
and, all of the things. And that first year, we had a really good turnout for the talent show. And then the second year, nobody prepared anything. Like, it was like a total fail. And I was devastated because I was like, that was my favorite part of the first year, was like everyone showed up and did a crazy fun talent. And there was, guys singing on their guitar, and it was amazing. And then the second year was just like crash,
Really?
burned. And I was like, why did that happen? Like, I couldn't figure it out. And so for the following year, we really put an emphasis on the talent show and like making sure people prepared and knew that we were preparing something. And then for this year, you've helped us with donating a lot of gifts.
Mhm.
And so now I think we're going to have an even better turnout for the talent show. And that's like by far everyone's favorite. Like,
Mhm.
it's so fun, and people put so much time and energy into it. And to be able to see that, like, we're so much more than addiction or mental health issues. And like, I know for myself, at least, I don't know about you, like, I grew up with so much anxiety that I turned to alcohol because it was like when I was in class and I had to do a speech or a presentation, I was like, there's no way I'm getting up there and I'm going to be able to do this. Like, I'm scared shitless. And so I would have to take a couple of shots to ease my nerves.
Mhm.
And so the fact that people now are sober and they're facing that anxiety, they feel the nerves, and they have all these tools now to move through it without having to drink or use drugs and go up there and make a fool of themselves or just have fun. It's so cool.
Yeah, it really is. I think it's so important, what you created for all of us, because I think sometimes people that are anxious people like you and me. A lot of times, alcohol was like a positive tool
Hmm.
to socialize,
Yep.
to laugh, to go to events, to have fun, to walk through fear.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of good memories that do happen with that. And when you get sober, it's scary when you realize, like, oh, I forgot I'm a shy, like insecure, I have a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
Like, I forgot I struggle with this.
Hmm.
And as you know, if we don't overcome that fear, we're probably going to drink again,
Yeah.
because
Because
it's
there will come a time when you get in that anxious state of body and mind, and it's like, okay, well, what's my solution? My solution is to drink.
yeah.
You know.
And how was that for you? Like if someone was to be like, well, maybe she doesn't have as bad anxiety as I do. I'm different. Hers is probably not that bad. That's why she was able to like walk through it.
Hmm.
Like, give me like some examples of like, what was your anxiety like growing up as a kid? Like, what was it like?
Oh, yeah. So not even just as a kid, before I got sober, I decided to try to go back to school like one more time.
College?
Hmm.
Okay.
And it was at a community college here in Orange County. and I showed up to my class. It was a night class. I showed up like 5 minutes late. And I'm like pumping myself up in the car. I'm like, I'm going to do it. Like I'm going to walk in. I have to walk in. Like I have to go to class. Like if I miss this class, like I'm screwed.
And was that because you're going to be late, you're having anxiety, or just showing up to class in general?
Showing up late.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I force myself. I get all the way to the door and I'm like, I can't do it. I literally am not walking in late. That's not happening. And I just walk back to my car.
And what was the fear? Do you feel like people are going to, like, the people are going to look at you as you walk in? They're going to be talking about you? Like, what is it, the fear of being late that goes through your head? What's like the dialogue?
Honestly, it was like opening the door and people looking at me. Yeah. And being like, where were you? What were you doing? What was so important? Why couldn't you make it on time? Like all of the things. And I'm sure, maybe I heard that stuff as a child and it was just traumatic, of feeling like I growing up, I definitely struggled with perfectionism and like I needed to be perfect. And if I wasn't perfect, if I couldn't do something 100%, like I'm not going to do it. And
Why were you like that?
I definitely had, so my parents, they divorced when I was 2.5, 3. And I was like essentially through a lot of therapy. Like this isn't something I've just come up with. Through a lot of therapy. My mom, she, went back and like recreated this pattern of being with other men. My dad kind of just decided like to be an avoidant because my mom deeply, deeply, deeply hurt him in their marriage. And because he was avoidant, I think I became that like co-parent when I was at my dad's house. And so it was like I took on this role of like, okay, I have to take care of my siblings. I have to make sure dad's okay. And I need to, all of these things, whatever it was. And then the message was like, you can't be like your mom. Like, because what my mom did was, painful for my dad. And so, and I look like my mom and I'm his only daughter. And so my sister is also his, but through it, like just being raised by him, but not his blood. And so I think it was just like he looked at me and it was just this crazy amount of fear and projection of just like, you can't be like your mom and you're not going to hurt me too, kind of thing. And so I grew up just like, oh, yeah, I can't be like mom and I have to be perfect and I have to take care of everyone and everything is my responsibility. And I grew up really, really fast because of it. And I got rewarded, like the more
What was the reward?
The more I stepped up, the more I was looked at like, oh, I'm dad's favorite. Like I got whatever I wanted. He treated me differently. He totally did. And so, yeah, so then I think it was like this ingrained thing as I grew older that it was just like, okay, like I have to do things perfectly and I'm not gonna upset my dad first and foremost, but then like that trickles down, like whoever is there in front of me, like I'm
so
not
everybody now.
Yeah,
You're like I can't let nobody down.
Exactly.
Whether it's friendships, people you're dating,
I'm
teachers.
I'm not letting you down. And like me walking into class late, I'm not disrupting you. And I'm not like, that's a big no. I'm not going to disrupt your class. Like that's really disrespectful. It's like I showed up 5 minutes late.
Yeah.
Like she probably hadn't even started class yet, Yeah. So like, I mean, and that was my whole life, but that's like one memory that really sticks with me where it's like, I literally put my hand on the doorknob and I'm like ready to do it. And I'm like, I can't.
And how old are you at that point when you're doing the doorknob trying to open?
I was probably like 22.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it just
I got sober at 24.
24. So that's 2 years before you got sober. And it just shows, right? Because I think sometimes people think like that just goes away as you get older. And it's like, no, if you don't deal with what's happening, like you'll be an adult with these behaviors still and these fears. And like, how did you, and I love this perfectionism thing, because I think sometimes in life people push that though. Like society might push it. You always got to do your best no matter what. You have to be the best. You got to do this. And sometimes maybe that can help, right?
Yeah.
But if you're someone who struggles with perfectionism, you
Mhm.
might take that and do a little bit more obsessively.
Yeah.
How did you see like that affect like relationships? Like, like when you're falling in love or friendships, how did the perfectionism get in the way of that?
It gets in the way of everything.
Right.
What do you mean relationships is everything?
Yeah. Like for example, like for me, it made me like I was a people pleaser, right? I didn't have
Mhm.
boundaries.
Mhm.
People pleasing.
Yeah.
I'm doing a lot of things I don't want to do, but I'm so afraid to let that person down, because in my head is if I don't please them
Mhm.
and I do one mistake, well, they're gonna leave.
Yeah.
That's what happens, and they're
Yeah.
gonna treat me different,
Mhm.
and I don't want that.
Yeah. I'm a big overthinker, and I like to create like this fantasy world in my head. And so when I'm thinking about dating someone or anything, it's like I literally will think the whole relationship through.
So you already get married and have kids in your head.
No, like I think of like worst case scenario.
Oh, so you go worst case
Worst
scenarios.
case
So
scenario.
not like, okay.
Every time. It's never, oh, this is going to end up being a good thing. Like it's
Wow, it's
always
always
like,
worse.
this is bad. This person's going to do this and this to me.
And why does your mind automatically go that route?
I think it's just like a protection. I don't know. Because if it's like I already think the worst is going to happen, then like whatever they do to me isn't going to hurt me, which
Yeah.
couldn't be further from the truth. Because when it happens, I'm
So,
like,
right. Right, I know what you mean.
I knew this was going to happen. And also too, I think it's like that weird, man, I knew it. I knew better, and I still did it. And then it's like I'm sabotaging myself and I'm setting myself up for failure. And it's like, it's this weird, like, yes, I'm trying to be perfect, but I'm also trying to show myself that I'm not.
It's so crazy, huh? It's such
If
like
that
a
makes
paradox,
sense.
right? It's such like a paradox back and forth.
Like, wow, you knew this was going to happen and you still did it. Why would you do it? And so it's like, yeah, it's definitely messed with a lot of my relationships. Well, I've been into serious relationships before. But even just like dating, I do it. And it's like, I overthink everything.
Were you a serial dater when you were younger? Like,
No.
oh no, you weren't. Okay.
No. My mom's been married many, many times. And my message was, don't be like mom.
Gotcha. So,
And so I stayed as far away from it as humanly possible.
Mhm.
I was like the most shut down when it came to being emotionally intimate with a man.
Oh, really? Okay.
To the point where I didn't even have my first boyfriend until I got into treatment and I got sober.
So you were the emotional, unavailable girl. You see that?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. When he finally passed away, I went back to Florida. That's where we met. And I remember like our group of guy friends, they were like, wow, you're so different. Like you, pre him passing away, you were still like a shell. Like we couldn't break through. But something happened when he died that like all of a sudden I became like a real human. And it was like, oh, it doesn't matter how hard I try to make sure that X, Y, and Z doesn't happen. I have literally no control. And that's kind of where God comes into everything, right? And
so what you're saying is you were still kind of shut down even with 8 years sobriety, right?
I got sober in 2015 and he died in 2019. So 4 years?
So 4 years, you're still...
I had like 3.5 years when he died.
Okay.
Yeah.
So for you realized too, even though you had sobriety, you worked your steps at this point, right? You're probably aware of things.
Yeah.
You were still subconsciously kind of
I was
blocked.
I was so blocked still.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so when him passing, you said it helped you drop that because you realized that you're saying that you can't control?
Yeah, it was like it was my biggest fear. He was an addict.
Mm-hmm.
It was my biggest fear, and I would cry over it, and I would try to control it. Um, and it was like that perfectionism thing showed up so deeply in that relationship. So it was like, people warned me at first, don't do this. This isn't good. You shouldn't be dating in your first year, blah, 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 blah. One of you's going to end up dead. And I was like, yeah, right. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so we both kept going, and we did it anyway. We thought we knew better, and then he relapsed.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, "Oh my god, they were right. They were right."
How soon did he relapse when you guys were dating?
He relapsed probably 3 months into our
Okay.
relationship. And then it was like
Yeah.
he
Couldn't get
couldn't
back
stay.
on.
Yeah. And he would get a little bit of time, and it was so interesting too. I was at a meeting yesterday morning. I go to a double winners meeting, which is Al-Anon and AA. And this girl was sharing, and she was like, my boyfriend, he'll use certain language to get me to stay. And it's like, I'm going to relapse if you leave me. I'm going to kill
Kill myself.
myself. If you leave me, there's going to be no reason. And I was like, man,
Were those
do
the
I
messages you were getting
remember
too?
that.
Okay,
Oh,
so that was
yeah.
part of it.
Oh, yeah. It was, don't leave. I'm going to die. All of the things.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, okay, well, everyone told me at the beginning of this, don't do it. And so that must be the answer. Like, I just don't do it then. And so, then I would
Don't
don't
leave.
be with
Oh,
him.
don't be
Don't
with
be
him.
with
Okay,
him.
so
And so
yeah,
then
yeah.
it was like, that's the quote unquote right thing to do.
Right.
So then I'm like, I'm trying constantly to do the right
Right.
thing. Um, and and now I'm so careful of how I speak to people in those same situations, because there is no right or wrong thing to do when dealing with an addict. There's people
Yeah.
who stay sober, um, and they got into a relationship in their first
And
year.
it works.
And there's people who got into a relationship at
And it
5,
doesn't.
10 years and they die too.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And so, and I was trying to be that perfect, person in recovery, and now I'm going to do the right thing, and I'm going to, put up the boundaries. I'm going to block him, and I'm going to tell him that, when you get a year, we can talk, and da 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 da
Mm-hmm.
da. And so I'm trying to do everything right. And he ended up getting like 9 months, and he was still in Florida, and he was coming back home to Huntington, and he called me and he wanted to see me, and I was like, it would be nice to see you. Like, it's been a long time. You have 9 months sober, and yeah, like I'll see you. And then I ended up getting sick, and I let him know, and he was like, okay, well, I'll let you know. Like, I don't know if I can afford getting sick right now, blah, blah. And then, like, the communication was a little weird. I was like, he came home and he got high.
Oh no.
And then he went back to Florida, and he went back to treatment. And he got out, and he was in sober living. And then I think he decided to move out with some roommates. And within like a week of living at this place with roommates, he started messaging me, and I'm always like, I was so hard those first 2 years of dealing with him. And I'm so grateful that I softened up towards the end that last year. And I was always so, um, I had learned by that point, like, love and tolerance is our code. I had changed sponsors, and that's always something that she's always told me, always reminded me, love and tolerance is our code. And so I was so much more loving and tolerant when he would message me. And he messaged me the day before he passed away, and we talked. And um, yeah, that was 6 years ago this past Tuesday. And I think that it was just this realization of, wow, I can try to do everything right, and like it's whatever God has in store for someone else, you know. And I think a lot of us have to like recreate our trauma to like reaffirm that message.
Yeah, elaborate on that, because that's I literally just had that conversation with somebody on the podcast a couple of weeks ago. How we tend to do that, recreate the trauma for what you just said.
Yeah.
Like, kind of break that down, what that means.
Yeah. So he passed away August 12th, 2019. And I remember walking to go get coffee. And I was talking to him because I talk to him a lot. And metaphorically, obviously, for those people listening and they're confused, he is dead. Yeah.
Right? They're like, wait, she's what?
I was talking to him in the sky, and I was just like, I would love to meet someone who reminds me of you. Like, he was my best fucking friend. Like, literally the only person to this day that I could sit and talk to on the phone for 6 hours. And I was talking to him, and and I was saying, obviously, I don't want the bad parts of you because there were bad parts. I'm not.
Let's be sober at least, right? Like,
exactly.
what for one?
I'm not like in the Delulu stage. And I was like, you did have some bad demons, and I don't want to deal with those demons ever again. But who you were and how you loved me and all of these things, like, I can't wait to find that. And that night, I show up to a meeting. And it was a meeting I'd never been to before. This woman, she had posted on Facebook that she was picking up her chip at this speaker meeting. And she was like, I would love for people to show up. And like, no one was commenting saying that they were going. And that's kind of like the person I've always been. It's like, oh my God, I need to show up for this person. Like, at least one person show up for you. And so I go, and I see this guy, he stands up and he's doing the chips that night. And he wasn't even the chip person. He had just taken someone's commitment that night. And I see him and I like immediately fall in love. And I was like, oh my God, he reminds me of my ex. And then it's like, it turns out he's on my brother's softball team. I end up seeing him again. Like, I'd never seen this person before. And all of a sudden now I'm seeing him everywhere.
Right.
And in my sick head, I'm like, well, I talked to my ex that morning and I told him, and like, clearly
this is God speaking to me right now. Right.
He
all
gave
the signs.
Me my new gift,
He's here.
Yeah.
Softball team.
Yeah.
I'm seeing him.
And then they also had pretty much almost the same name, and they had the exact same middle name. Very similar tattoos. Like, it was literally as if I had gotten him back.
Right.
And it was like pretty much immediate, and
how long were you single at this point until that happened, until you got with him?
So my first ex, he and I weren't together when he had passed away. We hadn't been together for like over a year.
Okay.
By that point when he died. But once he died, it was about 4 months when I met the next one. And I knew he was in sober living because my brother was in sober living with him. And I had 4 years sober.
Okay.
And I was like, this is a terrible idea. And I talked to my sponsor about it. And she was like, well, he's done all 12 steps. Like, that is like kind of the requirement of what people say to do. And nothing in the book says, she's very much like if it doesn't say it in the book, I'm not going to tell you what to do. Like, unless, like, whatever, she directs me to whatever it is in the book.
I love that, yeah.
And she doesn't make up her own rules.
Right.
And so she was like, if that's what you want to do, that's what you want to do. And I was like, and maybe she didn't even say that. Maybe it's just what I wanted to hear. I don't know. I'll never know, right? Because at that point, I had already made up my mind. I was in love with him, From the second I saw him, I knew. And within 6 months, so we met in November. We started dating in January of 2020. COVID hits.
So COVID dating.
And we end up quarantining together. And by June, I'm like, something ain't right.
So January 2020, you're dating.
Mm-hmm.
COVID happens March 14th.
Mm-hmm.
So, right. So you quarantine with him.
Yeah.
March, April, May, June. So 3 months into from that point, you're starting to noticing. What are you noticing?
He's losing weight and he's sleeping a lot. And he was a heroin fentanyl user as well. And I'm like, there's something going on. And by that point in June, they started letting him go back into the office. And so we came back. So we quarantined in Palm Desert at my dad's house. And by this point now, we're back in Orange County, and he was in the shower, and I decided to go through his backpack, and I find like a wad of Suboxone and empty Suboxone wrappers and all the things.
And let me ask you this. So looking back on it now, would you say that maybe there were some red flags that you're ignoring when you look back? Like, I think I knew he was getting high before I found it, before the weight loss. But sometimes we're in love and we kind of don't want to really believe it.
There were red flags from the second we met.
Okay.
And I ignored a lot of things.
And why did you ignore it? Because I think a lot of people, right, we're in that situation, right, where we can justify anything, right, in our head. Like you said, if I'm set on something, and usually it's with love. You said a lot with people with love, the love drug, as I call it.
Yeah.
Why do you think you go, I'll rather ignore the red flags to be with this person? Like, why do you think you did that?
I wanted a second chance. I wanted a do-over. I wanted to prove that it wasn't my fault.
So that's what you thought, because of the approach that you were being, I don't want to use the word groomed, but in a way, right? Like, this is, you don't date the first, you don't do this, you don't talk, and so you feel kind of bad, right? Because you learned, like, there's really no formula. When it comes to dating, like, don't give advice.
Yeah.
Because you just don't know.
Yeah.
And sometimes in your situation, you might resentful at self, that person that gave you the advice or something.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think I was, it was all subconsciously, obviously. Like, I was still in so much deep grief that I didn't even realize. And I think subconsciously I was recreating my trauma. Like, I wanted, and I know that because through so much therapy, and it's like we do that. We recreate our childhood trauma. And this is something that I had no control over, but I'm like, subconsciously, I'm going to get myself right back in the exact same situation. And I'm going to do things differently this time, and he's not going to die. And so I stuck it out for 3.5 years.
After finding the Suboxone, big giant thing, so 3.5 years. Okay.
Yeah. He ended up going into detox after that. He got honest with me, told me, he was abusing it, all the things. And man, those next like 6 months were absolute torture. He didn't like immediately go into detox. Like, it was like I'm gonna get sober myself.
Yeah, I can do it myself.
Blah 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 blah. I've done this a million times. And I was driving 100 miles an hour on the freeway because he hadn't answered in 5 hours, and I was terrified, and I was gonna,
especially because you've had it happen before,
right?
So it's possible now.
Right?
No, it happens.
Oh yeah, I'm like, no fucking way you're dying on my watch,
Yeah.
And so I end up, doing that for a really long time, and then my best friend from treatment, her husband was dying of cancer. And I had to fly to Boston. They had a child together. I flew to Boston, where he was, that's where they decided he wanted to die. That's where he was from. And so I stayed with her for a few weeks, taking care of him. And I was there holding his hand as he took his last breath,
Oh,
while simultaneously my boyfriend is, I can't get a hold of him. I'm having other people go to his house because, his parents also were messaging me and they couldn't get a hold of him. They were panicking. I'm like, I'm literally in crisis
dude,
everywhere I
everywhere.
look.
So before you get to, I want to ask something too. How did you not relapse? I think a lot of people in your situation, right, are in love. One relapses, the other doesn't. They want to make it work, and then
Hmm.
sometimes they end up relapse. Like, what was helping you? Like, where you're like, I'm not gonna drink and get high no matter what, with all that stress, like you said, fear and
Yeah.
stress and chaos.
I didn't even think about it. Not then. Um, I think I was being of service to so many other people. And that's kind of what the program teaches us,
Mhm.
right? Like, get out of self. If you're struggling, like, go help somebody else. And like, that was a big factor of going to Boston and helping her. And as
Mhm.
she's going through what I had already been through, um, and like trying to use that pain as a way to help somebody else,
Right.
even though I'm like literally in it
Another
again. And
one,
I'm like,
yeah.
how did I get here? Um, I think that was like I think I was just like literally white knuckling it at
Yeah.
that point. And I was I was going to a lot of meetings. And we had very different DOCs too. So like him doing heroin and fentanyl, I'm like, no, thank you. I have no desire to
Right.
do that.
You're just
Like
straight what, alcohol was your
straight
thing? Okay,
alcohol.
yes,
And
that's
so like
yeah.
seeing him, like I'm like, what is the you're turning into a zombie and you're freaking
You're
me
like, I don't
out.
get this. Like, why would this
Yeah.
doesn't make sense to me? Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
exactly. I'm like,
Okay.
I want to be.
Yeah.
So um yeah, so I was going through all of that and the next like 2 years, it was like he would go into treatment, he would get better. I moved him in. We ended up living together. We're playing house. And I end up breaking my hand and I was prescribed tramadol. And I took one and I really hated it. And, but I kept the bottle and he was living with me at the time. And I had this weird, yet again, like I have a lot of God shots in my story of just like these moments where I know God is literally telling me something's wrong. And I go and I find the tramadol bottle, and sure enough, there's a few missing. I know I literally only took one. And so you know, it turns into this really big argument, and we end up breaking up over it because I'm just like, I can't do this again. Like you had promised me so many times that if you relapse, you'd be honest with me. And that was my thing. Like this time, I'm not going to leave if you relapse. Because before it was like, oh, that's what I was told. Like
Mhm.
so I can't stay with you while you're hurting.
Right.
Like I'm not going to be
Yeah, I
in it
can't.
with
That's what
you.
they told me. I can't do
Yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
So that was the perfectionism. Now I'm going the opposite direction. So now he's struggling and I'm like,
I can't
I'm
leave.
in it with
Yeah, I
you.
can't leave no
I'm
matter what.
here. I love you. I'm not going to leave you alone. Whatever you need, like we're going to get you help. Like as long as you come and you ask me and you're honest, like I'm here with you. And that was never the case. Like it was always like I had to catch him in a lie after a lie after a lie or whatever it was. And so he ends up long story short, yeah, he ends up relapsing all the things. Um, and he ends up getting sober again. And then I think like 6 months later, and that was the time where I like really did cut him off. And then 6 months later, we end up reconnecting because all of his stuff was in my garage and he asked if he could come get it. And it was the first time we'd seen each other in 6 months. And he comes over and it's like, you're still my fucking person. And we start dating again. And at this point, we're like, we're not going to tell anybody. It's been a long ride for everyone involved. Like, no one wants us to be together at this point.
That's when you always know you're like, this is probably not right because our next move is we're not going to tell no one.
Exactly.
I've been there.
And I get to, I get another, that was November, December, January, February, March. I get another, 4 months with him. And I am in the desert. It's his birthday the next day. And I'm telling this story for a reason. So I have this weird gut feeling. It comes over me. And I call him. He doesn't answer. And I'm calling him to tell him I'm coming home early. And he doesn't answer. And I'm driving home, and for the first time and the only time in my life, I literally feel God speaking to me. And I hear God tell me he's with another woman.
So you just gut feeling, and then that's what you're hearing, right?
Mm-hmm. And I'd never thought that. I had like, my brain always would go to, he's getting loaded, like something's wrong. He must be high, like whatever. And I was like, oh, this is bad. This is weird. I've never felt this before. And I called him like 12 more times in the 2-hour drive back from the desert. No answer.
And you're an overthinker. I can imagine your mind just,
the
longest
hell no
drive of your life.
Yeah. And I finally get home, and I'm calling him one more time. No answer. So I'm like, I'm just going to go to bed. There's nothing I can do at this point. I don't know where he is. So I go to sleep, and I wake up around like 1:30 in the morning to him calling me, and I see that he texted me, and I'm like, okay, at least he's alive. Like, I don't know what's going on, but I'm just going to leave it till the next day. And the story that he told me was just that. It was a crazy story that I knew in my gut I couldn't believe. And I just said, I'm done, and that was the first time we had broken up, not in person, and he didn't fight me on it. Like, it was literally just like okay, he accepted it, I accepted it, and that was it. And about a year later, I get a phone call. So he ends up posting this girl like a week later. And I'm like, oh,
that's always the worst.
Yeah, I'm like, oh, okay. So God was literally talking to me.
No wonder why you just walked away easily.
And I was like, I was on cloud 9 because that time we had broken up the year before where he lied about the tramadol.
Yeah.
That was the first time I was directed by someone in the program. It wasn't my sponsor. He's told me, he said, go home, hit your knees, go to the bathroom and hit your knees and pray to God like your life depends upon it. And pray that God allows you to hear exactly what you need to hear. Like, drown out all the lies, all the noise, whatever it is that you need to hear in that moment for you to make a decision. Pray for that. And it was as if all of a sudden, like, the goggles had been taken off of my face when him and I had a conversation. Like, I heard the truth for the very first time. And after that, I like got high off of God. Like, so then I religiously now every single night I hit my knees and I pray like my life depends upon it.
So that moment right there literally deepened your relationship with God because of what you experienced emotionally.
A millionfold. Yeah. It was literally as if everything I was searching for in alcohol, I then found in my relationship with God. Oof, in that moment.
That's heavy.
And so then it became like this crazy like quest of praying and being like, okay, God, show up again. Like, let me see what's happening. And so when I heard God speak to me, it was like, I had no doubts in my mind that it was God, because at that point it had been a year of hitting my knees every single night and developing this relationship with God, that it was like, oh, this is for sure God. God's literally speaking to me, and this is the easiest thing for me to do. Like, I was so sure of my decision for the first time because it was with God.
Wow.
And then he posts the picture of the girl, and I was like, okay, now I'm really like, God is legitimately my BFF,
Yeah.
and he speaks to me and tells me things that I would never have believed otherwise.
And I love that, because I always say, if you seek God, God knows what we need to believe. And
Yeah.
God's like, Breeze, I'm going to make this very visual for you.
Yeah.
You're going to hear my voice.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to send you a picture.
Yeah.
So you can now like
you can verify.
Here you go.
Yeah, that
Yeah.
I am genuinely here with you
Yeah.
on this
Wow.
journey.
It's beautiful.
And that was where I was going with, like, I hadn't relapsed, because now with the relationship with my higher power, it's so strong, and it's like I knew that God has always been with me through all of it. It just takes what it takes sometimes, and God knows what it's going to take for me to hit the point of like fully seeking him. And then whatever anyone else's journey is to finding him, that's their own business. It's not my job to try to get somebody to, I had to go through a lot of pain in order to finally find God. And I hope that other people don't have to go through that. But, unfortunately, that is the case for a lot of people. And then about a year later, that girl that he had posted the picture with, she called me, and I asked her, I said, when was the first night that you guys were together? And she gave me that exact date. And I was like, I knew it.
It was that day too?
It was the day.
The day God spoke, yeah.
The night God spoke to me. She said, oh, it was the night before his birthday. And I was like, no way. I literally knew, like, without a shadow of a doubt, because it was God speaking to me. Like, I didn't need proof for the first time. And I always needed proof. I was always like, I need someone to tell me. I need to see proof right here and now. I need to go through his things. I need to find it, whatever. And it was like, all I needed in that moment was God to speak to me and tell me what was going on. And I left, and I was fine. I was absolutely fine. And then to hear it, a year later from her, and she tells me
more
like,
confirmation.
oh yeah. And I was like, of course, like, not that I needed confirmation, but it was just kind of like this cool thing. That I was like, oh,
yeah, it's like a little friendly reminder from God.
Yeah.
We're like, oh, that's right.
Yeah, like God really did speak to me that night. That's crazy.
Yeah.
And, being in the program, like, we always hear, like, you're building towards that God consciousness.
Yeah.
And that, for me, that was truly like the most God consciousness I've ever experienced. And unfortunately, about 4 months after that phone call with her, he ends up passing away. And I'm definitely, that was, what month are we in? We're in
August.
It's been about 7 months since he's passed away. And I haven't gone through that same level of grief, in the sense of like, I did something wrong. This is my fault. If I had done X, Y, and Z differently, maybe this wouldn't have been the result. I just have been able to, like, fully grieve him, and like really focus on what really matters in grief, which is like how much I loved him and how much he loved me, and like all the other stuff is just noise and doesn't matter. And I think that stems from what I had built with my relationship with God, you know, because I think the first death, there was still so much ego involved of like, oh, I could have that much power.
Yeah.
And then the second time and that's part of like, how did I explain it? I recreate my trauma.
Mm-hmm.
I think this time around, it's been I'm not powerful enough to have caused it, cured it, created
Mm-hmm.
it, any of it, you know?
Yeah, there's a saying, and not trying to say you had to go through 2 deaths to learn, but it's a lesson not learned is repeated, right? Sometimes it's going to be the exact same thing, right? And maybe
Yeah.
it might be just a heartbreak of someone, over and over again. But it's true, right? The first time it sounds like your higher power was still more you, right? Higher
Oh,
self,
yeah.
you, right? Still,
Yep.
because but you through that experience, I guess I can't control anything no matter what, right?
Yeah.
It was painful, like you
Yeah.
said, but sometimes I think in order to really truly believe in a God of your understanding or surrender, I think you really do need pain sometimes. Because if not, why rely on anything?
Yeah.
When you're like, well, nothing really bad's happened. I don't really
Yeah.
need to rely. But when I got nothing else, nothing's
Yeah.
working, but I'm at
Yeah.
this concept of God took away my pain, taught me something, whatever, and it's emotional.
Yeah.
You're like, maybe it's real. And so for you, right, you experienced the first one, there's lessons coming in it, not in ways that you wanted to, but in ways that you needed to. Now the second death happens. Doesn't mean it was easy, because I remember talking to you. I know it wasn't easy. Like I remember talking to you and it wasn't.
No, I
But you
was a
do,
zombie for so long.
but you do have this new concept, at least is it's not my fault.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
know what I mean? But there
Yeah.
still is grief that comes with it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. And I think maybe too, that's why this one was so much harder for so many reasons, but we were together for so much longer, and we almost got engaged and all of the things. He has a child. But to be able to just sit and grieve love and not have the ego involved with it, it's like it's painful.
Because it's like you have to face everything and
Mm-hmm.
heal, not face
Mm-hmm.
everything and run, or
Exactly.
right.
Yeah.
It's the truth, right? And
Yeah.
the right way of healing is the most painful way.
Yeah.
And when you know now, like, I know it's not my fault. I know what they could have did.
Yeah.
I have nothing to avoid, to justify.
Oh, yeah. I can't look at anything else. I just have to look at what's actually real
And
and what's
accept
really
it.
happening, and literally have to accept it.
Yeah.
And it's taught me a level of acceptance with literally anything and everything now that I never had before. Like people ask me all the time, like, "Oh my God, are you nervous for Camp Sober Fest?" I'm like, no, like I don't even think about it. Honestly, like I prepare, but I don't sit there and question what's going to happen or future trip or any of that stuff, because it's like I know that whatever is meant to happen is going to happen no matter what. And so it is this cool thing that I feel like it's like a superpower almost now, of just like I have such a level of acceptance with things that's really powerful that a lot of people don't have. Like so many humans are they're living in that ignorance is bliss state of mind.
And you hear it the way
which
they just
I'm
chase
jealous.
chasing things and all. You're like, oh my gosh.
Yeah, like I am jealous sometimes. It would be nice to just not feel this 24/7. But my therapist told me the other day, she was like, what you've gone through now, like things that used to matter they have no weight anymore. Like I can't even fathom walking up to a classroom and not walking in because I have anxiety. Like that's crazy to me now. Like to give that classroom, that teacher, those people that power over me is crazy. it's absolutely crazy. And it's all because I had no concept of a higher power and like a level of acceptance and all of the things. And now it's like, I got God. I'm good. Like I can
Yeah.
literally go and do anything I want and I'll be fine,
You
know?
literally have the best life coach that's with you 24/7
Yeah.
and free.
Yeah.
Right? That's the
Yeah.
life coach you want.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I love that for you. I think, right, page 417, acceptance is the answer to all our problems. You probably really understand
Yeah.
in more depth of like, yeah, it really is. Like if you can walk in radical acceptance and realize like, yeah, you can't control anything. You know, people think, well, if I love them enough, well, if I do the right thing, well, they said they're going to.
Yeah.
Well, I feel like God's in. Even that's another delusional one. Well, God's in. They said they're going to change because they believe in God. But you know, it's like, hey, today's all we got. Whatever happens is going to happen.
Yeah.
But there is a sense of peace
Yeah.
with that acceptance. Do you feel like you love even deeper now, having this radical acceptance of how life really is? Like, do you feel like you love in those moments when you're with your friends and family? Are you more present? You feel like, do you notice anything like that? Maybe.
That's a really good question. I feel like part of the answer is yes. Like I want to say yeah, like for sure.
Right.
But then the other part is that I do feel like I'm still so deep in my grieving process.
So that fear. Yeah.
That I'm like kind of dissociating a lot.
To protect yourself.
Yeah.
You're getting hurt again.
And I'm like very detached. Like I still feel like I'm watching my life through a TV right now. And so it's like yes, I'm present, but then I'm also like, I don't even know if any of this is real, like what's happening right now. But I feel like in those moments where I'm one-on-one with somebody, yeah, for sure. Like for the most part, like I feel like going through the day, I'm just like floating and detaching, whatever. But when I'm one-on-one with someone that I love, I am like very, very in it because it's like, oh my God, I had no idea that was going to be my last time with my ex. Like I never saw him again because we didn't break up in person. We were fine the last time I saw him. And then, shit ended up hitting the fan and we broke up over text and I never saw him again. Like, so I think that definitely has struck me in a different way of just like, I try to hold on a little bit tighter to things. I definitely have a lot of fear of like, if I like can't get a hold of somebody, I'm like, oh God. Yeah.
And it's very common. One of my best friends had 3 back-to-back happen to him, right?
I remember you telling me that when I was going through everything.
Yeah. And so, it is now like there's a fear of they don't text back on time, they're not answering because it happens.
Yeah.
When people haven't gone through it, it's too hard to really grasp that idea that people can just die.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you're around it, like you said, right, either I love deeper because I have this idea like you just never know, but also subconsciously because it's still fresh.
You're like, stay away.
Yeah, like I can't. I can't.
No,
I can't. Yeah,
that's where I'm at for sure with dating. Like, with my friends, and my family, it's different. But like dating, like,
yeah,
I have zero desire.
Zero desire.
Like,
Still zero desires. No, like you're just like this is not on your radar right now.
No, I feel like I'm so self-aware of where I'm at. And I think that if anyone is attracted to me right now,
run.
They're trying to save me. Like they want to they're like in it because they want to like make me feel better or like help me get through this. And it's like that's not your job.
Yeah.
And I mean, sure, like if someone came along and they were just like, hey, no, like I trust that you're able to like hold this by yourself, but like I'll be here next to you while you go through it. Like it just depends like how the person shows up, right?
What about for you? Is there parts of you where you're like, what part of my picker do I really need to fix?
Oh my God.
the
Yeah.
reality, right? Because
Yeah.
we are the common denominator. And
Absolutely.
doesn't matter how much time we have sober, you see when it comes to relationships,
Yeah.
that usually tends to be one that you can have a lot of time and still need a lot of work on, you know,
Yeah.
because to me, it's harder.
Yeah.
So beating drugs and alcohol addiction, easy compared to like love
People.
problems. Yeah.
People problems, literally people problems.
Have you kind of like identified anything like when you're like, oh man, like this is probably wrong with my picker. Like this is something I need to work on.
Sorry.
Here you go.
I was the saver with both of them.
Okay.
I was definitely recreating my childhood trauma.
I was gonna say that's what happens, right?
Of
Yep.
yeah,
Saving
of
dad.
saving dad, having to
Yeah.
be there, being the perfect kid. So then I show up wanting to be, you know, the savior and choosing emotionally unavailable people, but it's also because I was emotionally unavailable, you know, like we were attracted to each other for the exact same reason.
And something I want to point out right there that people don't talk about, they usually think one person's emotionally available and the other one's not. But really, like attracts, it just looks different.
Yeah.
It looks like
Totally.
you're not because you're doing lovable acts.
Right.
But the reality is, like you said, right? You're like, no, I'm actually probably emotional. It just looks different
Yeah.
compared to what that one looks like.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I was a terrible communicator.
Really?
I shoved everything down and then I exploded. I still hadn't really identified who I was, what I wanted, like all of that, you know. I was, and my ex and I, we broke up in almost, it had been 2 years in April. So, and I haven't been in a relationship since him. And I've been in therapy ever since. Well, we were also in therapy together, but I've just been doing so much work on myself because I have no business being with somebody right now, you know. And also I don't need anybody. And that was a big thing too. Like when I got sober and I met my first ex, I genuinely thought like, oh, I need this companionship. That's what everyone tells me. As a woman, you're supposed to find a man, you're supposed to get married, you're supposed to have kids, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, society doesn't know.
And through the last few years, I've been really reprogramming my brain. And like, I love my life. Like, yes, I have been through more than a lot of people, but yet I've been able to have a perception change in a lot of ways. And I don't know, like I don't have that, like I don't feel like I have a hole inside of me anymore where it's like, oh my God, I like really, really, really need somebody. I need a partner. I need to get married. And I've never been that girl that's been like, oh my God, I can't wait to get married and have kids. Like I've never, ever, ever, ever been that person. So I think I'm just on this like really cool journey of like trying to find my path, and my path might look completely different than somebody else's, and that's totally fine. Like it's that radical acceptance and constantly praying and asking God to show me where I can be of maximum service. And that's right now, like what keeps showing up is like my business with Taste Recovery and Camp Soberfest, and like also with doing the podcast, like being able to interview people and share the reason. Now after hearing my story, like the reason I started Sober Disclosure, and it actually was before this my last ex passed away, we started was because I was like, oh my God, I was so programmed to think that I had to do everything perfectly. And so that's why Sober Disclosure is about tell us all the things you did wrong and how you fucking stayed sober through it. Because people don't talk about it, and people shame you and make you believe that, you know, there's one right way, and there's not. Like people get sober in a million different ways. And whatever is your experience is your experience. And however I care more about how you were able to stay sober through it than like what you did, quote unquote, wrong.
Yeah.
And so, being able to give back in that way, I don't know. I don't even like have time for anybody, right? Like,
I was gonna say, yeah, you got a lot going on.
I have a lot
Like I
going
said, I
on.
feel like you live at Angel Stadium.
I do.
I literally feel like that every day. I'm like, she's at the game every day, and then she's playing pickleball, and then she's at the beach, and she's doing yoga, and then she's doing breath work, and she's here. I was like, Jesus, I'm going on a trip here and there. I'm like, damn. But that's
Yeah.
good. You know what I
I
mean?
keep myself very busy.
Yeah. You know, and before we get to the final speed questions, yeah, I think what your story shares too on this episode, because by the way, I'm bringing you on for multiple episodes. Just know that.
Oh, fun.
I like to focus on
one specific thing.
wherever it goes, and not try to, let's go
Yeah.
here and there. It's like, oh, this
Yeah.
is good, right? This is
Yeah.
like grief and loss and love and dating and healing on this one. And I love that, right? Because you bring God into like this importance of like when you have God, and when you had God in your life emotionally from that experience is when you're like, I don't need anybody, which is powerful, because codependency is I need you.
Yeah.
With God, it's I want you with people, and that's different, right?
Yeah.
I think want is true love. Need is not love.
Yeah.
Think about it. I don't love water.
Yeah.
I need it to survive.
Yeah.
If you told me I didn't, I probably wouldn't drink it.
Yeah.
Let's just be real.
True.
But when you choose something, that's there's more love to that.
Well, and when you're saying like I need you versus I want you too, like for me, I've noticed this heavily with friends that because of my own perfectionism, I was so used to expecting that level of perfectionism back, and I wasn't allowing humans to just be human.
Yeah, expectations.
And so, and so now this past year has really been seeing when I'm hurt and not putting it on that person and just saying, wow, like I expected X, Y, and Z from that person. And why do I keep going to that person for that thing if I know that they're not capable of it? Yeah. And so where can I go so that I don't keep setting myself up for failure? And it's been this like really cool. And I think that's part of like, I feel like I'm watching myself from a TV because I feel detached from things, but it's cool because now I get to like really see it and be like, oh, okay, I can just go be over here and it's okay. Yeah. And like give myself grace. And when I'm giving myself grace, then I get to give other people grace and just let it be. Yeah. It's very powerful.
And that's so important. I think expectations lead to, frustration, resentments. But the reality is most people are takers. That's just what it is. It's not personal. Like you said, observe. They're a taker. Yeah. It is what it is. Yeah. So if you're going to give to them, be aware of what you're probably going to get back, right? We should never expect anything in return, but we should also be wise where we only have so much time. I would rather give to other givers. Yeah. You know what I mean? When like it's just smarter to do that, because then there's that level of like, I know what you're doing for me. I know you don't have to, but I appreciate you are. Yeah. And that's why I have your back wherever I can. Yeah. When something pops up, I think of you because you're helping me. That's why, like, when I give to people, I learned that too, right? I am very wise with who I give to. And I always know not to expect anything. I really don't care, because when I give, God gives me back tenfold. Yeah. The way I joke about it is if I give to you, I could go drive in the carpool by myself. God's going to protect me. God's going to protect me. I did something good. That's, but and I use that like little funny thing, but it's like, that's how it feels. Yeah. You know what I mean? You do feel, and it comes in some other way. But then when you do have that solid crew of people that are givers, that's why it's like keep your circle small, because we thrive together in giving. Yeah. And so for the final questions, I'm going to ask you, these are all speed questions. The first one is, what are 3 books you'd recommend to someone to read that could completely change their life? If you read books.
Oh my gosh. I don't have the names. I'm terrible with actually remembering names of books, but they're all self-help books that I've had to read within my grief, and books that my therapist has recommended, books that actually, well, someone else recommended. I'm not going to say who it was, but I'll explain afterwards. But anyways, yeah. No, they're all self-help books. And now I really wish that I knew the names of them, but yeah, they're all like detachment, self-love and oh my God, that one Mel Robbins book,
Oh,
the
which
Let
one?
Them Theory.
Oh, you know, it's so funny. I just bought that book 2 weeks ago. I was at a homeless shelter, and one of the homeless people was telling me about that book because I love Mel Robbins.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing a reel. Hey, your parents sucked. Guess what? Let them be.
Yeah.
Let them be. Yeah, your parents
Yeah.
said, let them be sucky. It's okay. I
Oh,
was like, I never thought about it. Yeah,
let
them.
them
They're never going to
and
heal. Let them never
let
heal.
me now make decisions
Decisions.
based off of
Yeah.
the data that I have.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
powerful.
Yeah. Yeah. Phenomenal book.
Yeah.
And woman. So yeah, that's at least
Okay.
one that I can give an
That's
actual
good.
name of because
Love it.
all the other self-help books, I don't pay
Yeah.
attention to the names. I just know that
So
there are things
Mel
helping
Robbins
me.
is
Yeah.
amazing. My second question is, what was one mindset shift? I know you probably talked about it on the podcast, but what's one mindset shift that completely changed your life?
Perception is key. I heard in a meeting someone said, before I got sober, I was the victim. And after getting sober, my perception and my mindset now has to be, I am actively choosing this. And that blew my mind when she said that, because that is so real. Like, I tell people that all the time. Like, are you actively choosing to be in this relationship? Then why are you complaining about it?
Ooh, I love you said that.
You know,
'Cause that's so common, right? People complain. You're just like,
yeah,
then leave.
yeah, like, are you, all of the things. It's like, oh my God, like, my parents are trying to dictate my wedding, blah, 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 because they're paying for it. And it's like, but you're actively allowing them to pay for your wedding.
Yeah, they don't have them pay for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
like,
but they need blah blah blah. It's like,
yeah. And
oh, yeah.
I didn't realize that I had choices.
Oof.
And through giving myself that power back, like, I'm actively choosing this.
Yeah.
So if I'm actively choosing this, that means I have a choice in
Yeah.
the matter. And that means I can choose something else for
Exactly.
myself. And so go fucking do something else if I'm miserable.
Yeah. I love that. It's so true, because so many people complain about their job, their relationship, their family,
Yeah.
all this.
Yeah.
And then you're like, okay, so why don't you leave? Why don't you go somewhere? And then they have this excuse that comes with it.
Yeah.
And like you've learned, right? Then everybody has excuses.
Yeah.
That's something we have to just remove completely.
Yep.
Because we are always in control of where we want to be in life. We have that control, right? And also, I think when people start creating excuses, some maybe can be valid depending on, third world country thing. You start to think, okay, cool. But when you're here and people are complaining, it's like, I don't care where you're from, how old you are, your gender, nothing. If you want to figure it out, you can figure it out.
Yeah.
And we know that as recovering addicts, right? Yeah. Like, figure it out. Go read about it. Watch a YouTube video on it. ChatGPT now. I'll give you the answer. You know what I mean? This one's a funny one. What is the worst piece of advice someone's ever given you?
Oh, man. That's hard. I don't know.
It's different.
Yeah, I really don't know if anyone's ever really given me like.
So like for me, for example,
bad
advice for me that I was given was, you need to tone down who you are. I used to think, because I view myself less than everyone, that if anyone told me that I viewed had what I wanted, whether it was money, physical looks, status, a relationship, I thought, oh, they must be right. Like, I'm too much. I need to dress in a suit because they said that. I need to start reading the newspaper because that's what men do. Oh, I need to get this type of job. Oh, I need to be in this type of. I need to be the man, and the relationship dynamic. I'm supposed to do this and do all that, And I remember for a long time, I'm trying to be something that I thought I was supposed to, and it just made my life miserable.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. That's so hard. That's a really tough question. I think people have definitely within the last year, because I can't think past this past year. Within this past year, it's been, oh, should you be sharing that? I've heard that quite a few times, and it's not necessarily the best or the worst advice I've heard, because it's not advice, but to me, I have found my most powerful. I found the most power in being authentically real and honest and vulnerable and sharing whatever it is I feel in the moment called to share. And I don't, yeah, when people say stuff like that to me, it's like, it's like an immediate block, you know. I don't need anybody in my life telling me to not live authentically and not tell my story, because at the end of the day, these things all happened to me just as much as it happened to them. And if I can help somebody, then I'm going to talk about it,
Right.
you know?
And people don't realize that's the most healing thing we can do. When we're going through something, if you don't share it and see that it helps someone else out, then that means we went through it for nothing.
Right.
And there's some things in life that you can view as unforgivable experiences and pains, because we have to live with a lot of it. That never goes away. It's like a part of your story now. My story is living with this pain that lingers.
Yeah. Forever. Yeah.
And by sharing it, you take back your power. And it's like, I went through this for a reason. This helps me believe that for today.
Yeah.
And the more I share it, the more I believe it. And that helps me live with it.
Yeah.
So I think it's so powerful. And then my final question is, somebody right now is going through grief, just started going through grief. They're sitting with you for 1 minute. What would you want to share with them for some wisdom to how to process it?
So that girl that I was talking about, the girl that I heard share a very similar experience to my story. She's not going through like an actual loss of a human, but when someone relapses, you're going through grief, right? Yeah. It's the same thing. It's like,
it's probably worse.
Yes, it's the anticipatory grief of like, oh God, what's about to happen? And how will I be able to live with that? Like there's no way. That's the big mindset hurdle, is like, how will I ever be able to stay sober through that? If they die, I'm going to die. I'm never going to be able to live my life without them. All of these things, like that anticipatory grief is so real and so powerful and horrible. And this is what I told her. I just said, there is no right way. There is no right or wrong thing that you can do in this moment. The only thing that I suggest is you hit your knees and you pray to God like your life depends upon it, because that's what someone directed me to do. And that's where I found my power. And that also, for me, shows me I'm not playing God anymore. And I think that in the program, a lot of people are playing God, and they are, with the best of intentions, directing people to do things, thinking that that's the right or wrong way to do it. And you don't know what is the right or wrong thing to do, and you could be causing a lot of harm. And if I just direct you to God, then that's something that you get to decide yourself as you go within and you get closer with your relationship with God. Like if that's what comes out of it, amazing, rather than me telling you what to do and how to go through it and how to get through it, how to sit with grief. Like, go to God with it, and you're going to become a better version of yourself regardless. So
I love that. Well, before we close out, where can people reach you?
You can find me on Instagram at Breezy_Nowlan, or Taste Recovery, or Camp Soberfest.
Yes.
Or Sober Disclosure. I have so many handles.
That's right. Yeah, I love that. Add them all.
Add them all.
Yes.
Come find us.
Camp Soberfest will be done this year when this comes out, but now you can get ready for next year.
Get one of these cool tank tops.
Sequoia Soberfest.
Pew. Yeah.
And no, I love that. And again, I just want to say, thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for who you are, what you do, for taking the time out of your busy life, right? Because you have so many things going on. Cell professes next week, but you take your time to come out here and just share with us.
Yeah, of
I
course.
deeply appreciate that.
Yeah. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
All the stuff you've done for camp, my God. You got to get recognition. He's donated like $10,000 worth of things.
Don't worry,
Let's shout it out.
We're
from
at
the
Camp Silverfest. I'm
rooftops.
gonna be like,
Yeah.
everyone's here. Do it now, right? Nonchalant. The center of attention part of me, huh?
Oh yeah.
Hey, Breezy.
Oh yeah.
Thanks again.
Who actually gave all of these gifts out?
The light goes on me. What? Yeah. Oh, stop it.
Where's the spotlight?
Thank you.
Yeah. Oh, actually, Fausto can't win because Fausto is the one
That's the way to do it. Yeah. Look, guys, I didn't want to say this, but Breezy could say it. The reason why I can't win.
Yeah, he actually gave all these gifts to all of you.
But what I can do is give me that mic, right? So in 30 minutes, I'm about to tell you everything about me. So when I was 7, right? Oh, gosh. But no, yeah, it's a blessing to be able to give. It was funny too because when I was in Bali, that's how I came up. Because I did that big Christmas party, and I was like, okay, I know I can only do this like once a year. Who am I going to do it for? I want to make sure I do it for someone worth it. You know what I mean? Because I've had people, in my life be hurt me and use me, and so you popped up, and I was like, that's who I'm going to do it for. So yeah, I thank you for letting me do that. I'm excited for it.
God's got a plan.
Yes, he does. And thank you for being here.
Thank you.